Mom said Santa forgot us again. The boy's voice was small, almost swallowed by the winter wind, yet it landed like a hammer in the chest of the lonely billionaire standing beside the bus stop. If that line made you pause, stay with this story until the very end, and if it touches your heart, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, because stories like this remind us why kindness still matters. The snow had been falling since dawn, thin and stubborn, coating the cracked pavement in a dull white sheen. The bus stop shelter flickered with a dying fluorescent light. Beneath it stood a man who had everything money could buy and nothing it couldn't. No family waiting at home, no laughter echoing in warm rooms, no reason to rush anywhere on Christmas Eve. His tailored coat looked out of place next to the peeling bench and the rusted trash can, but he stood there anyway, hands in his pockets, staring at the empty road like it might offer him an answer he'd missed his whole life. That's when the boy spoke. He couldn't have been more than 8 or 9, bundled in a jacket that had seen too many winters and not enough repairs. His shoes were mismatched, one lace missing, the other tied in a knot too big for a child's fingers. He stood beside his mother, a woman with tired eyes and a smile that worked overtime to hide worry. They were waiting for the same bus, the one that ran late on holidays, the one that carried people who couldn't afford to drive or didn't have anywhere else to go. Mom said Santa forgot us again, the boy repeated, not complaining, just stating a fact like the sky being gray or the snow being cold. The billionaire, his name was Adrian, though few people ever used it, felt something twist inside him. He was used to boardrooms and numbers, to contracts signed with gold pens and applause that followed announcements of profit. He wasn't used to children speaking truth so plainly. He glanced down, unsure if he should respond, unsure if it was his place. The mother noticed his look and quickly leaned down. "Ethan," she whispered, forcing a gentle laugh, "Santa didn't forget. He's just busy." Ethan nodded, accepting it the way children accept explanations that don't quite add up. "It's okay," he said. "Mom says we have each other. That's enough." Adrian looked away, embarrassed by the sting behind his eyes. Enough. He had penthouses in 3 cities, cars he barely drove, a private jet that sat unused more often than not. And yet, on nights like this, he felt so hollow he could hear the echo of his own breathing. The bus was late. Minutes stretched. Snow piled higher on the curb. Ethan kicked at it, making a small mountain, then a tunnel. Adrian watched him, remembering a childhood he'd buried under years of ambition. His own father had worked endlessly, promising that one day things would slow down. They never did. Christmas mornings had been quiet, gifts expensive but impersonal, affection replaced by checks and apologies. "Do you believe in Santa?" Ethan suddenly asked, looking straight at him. Adrian hesitated. "I used to," he said honestly. "A long time ago." Ethan smiled like that was good enough. "I think Santa comes in different ways," he said. "Sometimes he looks like people." The words stayed with Adrian as the bus finally arrived, groaning to a stop. The doors hissed open, and warmth spilled out. People climbed aboard, stamping snow from their shoes. Adrian watched the mother count coins in her palm, her shoulders tightening as she realized she was short. The driver frowned, already tired of the day. I'm sorry," she said softly. "I can put this back." Before Adrian could overthink it, he stepped forward. "I've got it," he said, handing over his card, then stopping himself. "Cash." He pulled out bills, more than enough, and nodded to the driver. "For them." The mother stared at him, startled. "You don't have to." "I know," Adrian said. "Merry Christmas." Ethan's eyes widened. "See, Mom," he whispered as they found seats. "Santa." The bus pulled away, leaving Adrian alone again in the snow. He expected the moment to pass, to dissolve into a memory he'd later dismiss as sentimentality. But it didn't. It followed him home, into the silent apartment where a massive tree stood unlit, bought on impulse and forgotten. He stood there for a long time, then did something he hadn't done in years. He picked up his phone and made a call, not to an assistant, not to a business partner, but to a foundation he'd funded and never visited. The next morning, Christmas Day, Adrian didn't wake to a schedule. He woke to an idea. He canceled his plans, ignored the unanswered messages, and drove, not in a luxury car, but in something modest, to the neighborhood where the bus had headed. He didn't know what he expected to find. Maybe nothing. Maybe confirmation that kindness was a one-time thing. What he found was a small apartment building with chipped paint and a stairwell that smelled like soup and laundry detergent. He knocked on the door he'd memorized from watching them get off the bus. The mother opened it, surprise flashing across her face, followed by caution. "I hope this isn't strange," Adrian said. "I just wanted to check in." Ethan peeked around her leg, then gasped. "Mom, it's him." The apartment was sparse but clean. A tiny tree sat in the corner, decorated with paper ornaments and a single string of lights that flickered. Adrian knelt, eye level with Ethan. "I heard Santa might have missed this place," he said. Ethan shook his head seriously. "He didn't miss us," he said. "He just came early." What followed wasn't a miracle of excess, but one of presence. Adrian listened as the mother, Lena, spoke about losing her job, about doing everything she could, about nights spent choosing between heat and groceries. He didn't interrupt. For the first time in years, he didn't try to fix everything with a check. He helped where it mattered. A job interview arranged through his company, a warm coat for Ethan, a grocery run that filled the fridge. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Adrian found himself stopping by, then staying longer, then laughing. He attended Ethan's school play, clapping too loudly. He sat at a small kitchen table eating soup that tasted better than any five-star meal. The loneliness that had once defined him began to loosen its grip. There were challenges. Pride got in the way. Fear whispered that this happiness was borrowed, temporary. Lena struggled with accepting help. Adrian struggled with slowing down. But they faced it honestly, together. When Ethan asked why Adrian didn't go back to his big house all the time, Adrian answered, "Because home isn't a place. It's people."